Alright, who wants to be toe buddies?
No thank you, your toes are fucking terrible.
That didn't last long. Slap down of the century from G-Force Dre. What up, guys and girls? Another brand new video coming at you today. We are back for another round of the Spec F1 Esports Elite Series for Season 3 in Tier 2 on the PS4. We're here for round number 12 here for the Italian Grand Prix. There's all the championship standings that you need to know on your screen right about now. So it's basically 16 points is the difference in the Drivers' Championship between, I think it's ACW and Plevs. 17 points is the gap between Williams and Mercedes in the Constructors. We're currently positioned in position number 19 in the championship and hoping to make some inroads here around Monza. As you can see, we're on our flying lap now for the first flying run here around Italy. First things first, if you haven't checked out the previous video, which was the Belgian Grand Prix, then I do urge you to go check that out before you come and see this one, because there'll be definitely some spoilers around for that video probably very shortly. But you can see our first flying lap here. We've just taken a little bit, probably too much curve going through the first of the Lesmo. Oh, when I say the first, it's in the second Lesmo. But out of the exit there, we just ran it a little bit too wide and validated our lap time there. So basically just pulled aside there. Probably gave, I think that might have been actually my teammate there. I'm not actually 100% too sure there, but we might have given him a slipstream. But second time round, I actually validated through the Variante della Roggier chicane. So yeah, not off to a flying start here, but going by off the pace that I had in the Pacific race around here, which again, if you have not checked that out, and if you haven't seen any of the whole Season 3 videos so far, whether it be the Elite Series or Pacific Series, I urge you to go check that out. There'll be a whole playlist, as always, is at the end of the credits, so you can go check out that playlist. But God, that was a good slap there, like I mentioned, from G-Force Dre, saying how Lachlan's toes are like, as in like slipstream toes are terrible apparently. So that was a big slap down there for poor old LM15. But and again, he's still asking for someone being a toe buddy. I don't know why. It's apparently he just wants to help out some guys around here. I don't know what it was the go there, but that just seemed to be his niche for this track anyway. But here we go yet again for another flying here around here. We actually nailed the first chicane for probably the first time throughout this whole qualifying session. Actually, the last couple of times, well, you probably saw the first time I probably went in a little bit too deep, and that was probably, you know, following on from what occurred in Pacific as well. I was, you know, just trying to find like the braking limits, you could say, at the first chicane. Second chicane, pretty much nail it. Probably not quite as best as like what I did in Pacific either, but fly through Ascari, not the greatest at line, just lose the back end. Actually probably took a bit too much curb coming through Ascari there, but well, at least we'll get a lap time on the board. It won't be the quickest overall, but I felt like probably I could easily, I can't even remember what the lap times I said in Pacific, was you just ran a little bit wider Parabolica. I was actually surprised that I didn't actually, or the game didn't invalidate my lap time there, but it is P12 with a very slow lap time. That was, what was it, a 19.740. So I mean, it's not the quickest overall, but I felt like I could go a hell of a lot quicker than what it showed there anyway, considering, well, what was I think it was like 18s, probably mentioning in the previous Pacific race or in time trial, one of the two anyway. So but you could tell maybe we're slowly but surely just slowly but surely building some momentum a little bit here. And like I said, I was actually feeling very confident about the pace around here, considering, well, what was the Pacific race anyway. If I hadn't had the little bit of a hiccups along the way, we probably would have had a fairly decent result there. But potentially there could be a very decent result here, which I haven't had too much of like this season. I mean, I've had a few top 10s, but other times I've probably potentially thrown away a couple of good results, I think, from memory. But well, if you take into consideration like Austria, for example, would be one of them. What else have I done? I think that's pretty much all I've done so far. So,
let's go.
As you can see here, we were actually on a flying lap here, but I was going to be pretty much aborting this lap and coming into the pit lane. You can see actually, it's probably why on the top right of your screen there, the timer was starting to get under 3 minutes, and I felt like if I maybe completed the lap, I wouldn't have got back round and to come back into the pits and then put another set of softs on and go again. I mean, which probably wouldn't have been a bad thing because I would have had a free set of softs up my sleeve because it's a pretty simple strategy around Italy. Pretty simple one-stop strategy around here, but of course chaos can ensue around here as well. But we're just about to head off now for the final run here. So we're just leaving the lane now as we speak. I felt like we were getting close to probably like a low 19 or maybe even an 18. As there goes my teammate there, Goran. He's I'm not sure whether he was actually in a flyer or not, but he's just behind me actually in P13. So you can see just trying to find a little bit of space around here. Obviously, it can be a little bit tricky as well with space. Take it in account, basically, like, what was it, the 2019 season where all hell broke loose in Q3 around here. So let's go for a flying lap, which is actually going to be my fastest lap around the Italian Grand Prix. So fourth flat out in 8th gear, nearly 344 kilometres an hour down into turn 1. Little bit of a lock-up on the front right there. Probably wasn't the ideal braking through there, but anyway, I probably could have taken a lot more curb than what it was. I think players just went provisional pole for the time being. There's my teammate just pulling out of the way. Very nice for him. Probably could have got a little bit of a slipstream from him there. But through Sector 1, it's not too bad. Put about 0.285 ahead in Sector 1. Probably didn't nail the Variante della Roggia like I did in the, like I mentioned in the Pacific Series. But through the Lesbos, this was probably not one of my favourites, but we managed to get through it pretty cleanly. Second Lesbo was probably my more concerning one compared to the first of the Lesbos. But now fly down the Seraglio, I think that is. Now through Ascari. Pretty much nail it through here, I felt like. I was actually surprised I didn't actually validate my lap time here, but now sizing up Parabonica. I felt like it was actually going to be a decent lap time here. We went, what do we go? About nearly 6 tenths quicker in the second sector, so we had a much better run here. Like a much tighter line through the final corner. Across the line, it goes up themselves into P7 with a 118.724, which didn't feel too bad overall, but I mean it's still P7.
I genuinely wasn't even trying to pass you there.
I think there's been a little commotion as well in the background there between two of the, I'm not sure which two it was, we'll find out a bit later on, but we're going to actually shut up now for the time being and take you on board the pole position lap on board with Plebs in the Mercedes. Enjoy. And there you go. That was the fastest lap for the qualifying session. Like I said, it was good enough for Plebs to get pole position around here. I mean, it's probably not the clean. Plebs might say it. It might not have been the cleanest lap overall, but it was good enough for pole. I think ACW. I'm not sure whether he validated his last run or what, but good effort from those guys. Him and G-Force Dre, who actually had decent pace around here as well, considering on what he did in Pacific. get a P3 in this one, but it was actually, I think, Lachlan LM15 and I think it was Alex Pato that were having the little commotion in the background, but in turn it cost Lachlan 5 spots on the grid for the race. But we get to the race, obviously it's a bit of an overcast, no chance of rain at all, so that was an added bonus for that one, but it's going to be a pretty simple strategy around here, softs to mediums, probably doing the opposite of what it did Pacific.
What is this game? I selected mediums and it's put me on softs.
Imagine starting on the shit.
Now Lachlan knows what I felt like back at Britain in Pacific. So he's basically, I think he's going to be starting this race on the soft competitor tyres. Whether he likes it or not, he's going to have to put up with it. So I think his race is literally going downhill. There's confirmation from himself. There, but we're doing, like I said, we're in a good position here. Could be a potential for a top 5. There's Rhythms having a little bit of a spin on the formation. I absolutely have no idea how you spin it going down that back straight there, but
what is he doing?
And yeah, that was probably mentioned as well. He might be still having, because these last few rounds he's sort of been having a few. Well, how many rounds ago since it's been? It's probably since maybe Austria, possibly. He's been having. We might actually go back to France when I joined the league, but well, sorry, when I joined the elite side of things, anyway. But yeah, I think he's been having the odd wheel issues along the way as well. So not sure whether he rectify those in time.
An extra 10 minutes just for Lachlan to get into his grid spot.
But we're just waiting on everybody else to.
We got to restart the race now.
I think we're waiting for Rhythms' car. There he is.
She's starting on soft.
I think he's the last car to actually line up on the grid after his little spin.
No, I've got the hottest tires.
So now we just await and the start and see whether we can have a decent result around here. Maybe even get our first top 5. Okay, Lachlan saying he's going to be leading down into turn 1.
Please be broken. Please be broken.
You want to be hoping that the other 15 of us actually crash out so he can actually that to happen here. But here we go. We're all set here for the Italian Grand Prix 5 red lights. Let's do it around Monza. We've got eye contrast's point of view as well on the top right of the screen, considering he's just the position ahead of me there. But looks a pretty clean start for us. You can see everybody just going down the, inside line, either trying to go inside, outside line. Got a nudge up the backside. I don't know who that was from. I think it might have been from someone a bit further behind, I think, from memory. But we managed to hang on to our starting position of P7. There looks like there's been a little bit of commotion in the background there on lap 1. So it looks like contrast and Rhythms going side by side here, going into Variante della Roggia. It's not easy going side by side through there. Might do a little bit of contact. That gives us a nice momentum to get out of that corner there and get the move done up the inside into the first Lesbo. So that's critical, but that's a good starting position where we want to be. So that's important, especially if we want to keep it with these guys up the front. Not sure about whether we can keep it with the race-winning guys, but at least have a good key position to possibly get a top 5 position. Flight through Ascari now. Nice and clean, not taking any risks. As I say that, we have a little loss at the back end. Trying to have a little bit of...
Oh my god.
In the slipstream here of Rhythms, it looks like, I think Alex...
No, I mean, it was...
I think there's been a little bit of commotion. We might have to bring up some replays of that. Possibly incident if we can get some, hopefully. But complete lap 1, I think ACW is leading the Grand Prix from the start of the race. So he actually got a good start. Position 2. We're trying to close in here onto the back of Rhythms in the Ferrari. You can see we're not too far behind from these guys up in front here. ACSE and G4 Strayan off up the road. My teammate's already in the pit lane, so he must have been one of the guys that got caught up at that first couple of corners there. That was Lachlan and Isaac Kush, I think, possibly having a little coming together there. We might have a replay of that. I'm not actually too sure about that one. But lap 3, everything seemed to get pretty simple.
Don't you love racing a car that's not there?
Again, Lachlan having a lot of fun. That's how the things in the back row. We actually went purple in the middle, the first sector, I should say, which I was shocked about it, considering it's only lap 3, and obviously the DRS is now enabled it. But I think more importantly, we've just broken out of the 1 second window to contrast behind, but we are keeping in the window of Rhythms, who I think is just keeping in the DRS window of ACS as we lose the back end coming through the second Lesbo there once again. Here's a replay of the start from the pole man and the guy in position 4, that being Plebs and ACSC. Not the greatest of starts from Plebs, probably just got a little bit of too much wheel spin there, but you can see he just covers the inside line there. Make sure you're keeping ahead. That's ACSC not too far behind. It's not too much of a squeeze there from G-Force Dre. It looks all clean through there. Right, go a bit further back. Chain Game Wow, he's the first of the guys on the medium compounded tyres that probably actually did the right thing and went off the mediums. But pretty even start there. As you can see, KD and Alex there. Side by side into turn 1, so let's see what's occurred here. It might have been actually KD that might have got into the back of it. I'm not sure about it. Oh, that's a little bit tight there as he loses the back end. Probably will lose a few spots out of that one. He does, so I think Alex may have caught up in that somewhere along the line there, but there's someone going straight ahead. That was actually LM15. That's Lachlan going through the sort of the escape road down there, Variante de la Rogier's. I think it was the contact in between Chain Game Wow and Goran, my teammate, and then Alex Pato took full advantage of that one. Now he's pretty much dead last now as Chain Game Wow. Now this is probably what happened a bit further on with this instance. So I think Alex got by Goran, he does. So nice move there for Alex at Ascari. Oh, that might explain it. That was one of the red. It was Goran. I don't know exactly what happened there. I might have actually missed it, all that commotion there, but I don't actually know what happened. There's in the foreground there, I think, of what happened there between Kush and LM15, and it didn't actually end up, well, it ended far a bit more worse for Kush there, unfortunately. Possibly could have got front wing damage. I think he was starting from the back, if from memory serves me correctly. Didn't set a lap time in qualifying, as Alex getting back past Chain Game Wow. So he gets himself back up to position, I think it was like 13 or 14. And now back to this battle here. This may be a change of position here with the lead. See, with the DRS, preferably you do not want to be leading, but of course, it's a little too one-way really, isn't it? You don't preferably want to be leading, but obviously you want to be the guy behind in P2, obviously getting the slipstream, but obviously we also want to possibly lead this race. That probably made no sense at all, as it's Trap Formula who's out of the Grand Prix. He was actually, might have been the other car in the AlphaTauri for this race. This Trap, I think, is a reserve driver, if memory serves me correctly. You can see to lap 5 here, you can see there's yellow flags actually ahead. That's for Alex. Oh, sorry, Trap Formula. I think this car just pulled over to the side of the road, just between the first chicane and the Curva Grande. But so we're already getting a strategy change to go one lap further than what was our predicted pit stop strategy, I think. But you can see there was a sort of a train starting to form here as we pick up a warning there through the Ascara chicane. I think that's my potentially first warning of the race. Not 100% sure here, but just see we're just following in the slipstream of these guys. As my teammate's actually back into the lane again. So he's not having the greatest of races. As I think Alex is having a little bit of a bit more commotion there as well in the background. And by the looks of it, I think Lachlan may have been another one, as Goran now retires in the pit lane. So he's obviously gone a lap down.
Alex, you get damage.
And obviously doesn't think he can recover that one, which is a bit of a shame for that one. But he's a replay on board here. This is...
different flash.
That might have been, yeah, just what you saw there. I think, bit hard to tell, looked like. I think it might have been Lachlan, might have had a little bit of a moment there, and Alex was probably trying to avoid something, or maybe just got caught up in the wrong place, wrong time sort of thing anyway. But lap 6, you can see big moment sideways there for Rhythms coming through the first Lesbo. We take full advantage of that. Probably got a little bit lucky with the ghosting side of things, but of course Rhythms is sort of Europe side. Obviously I'm from Australia, so that was probably going to happen one way or another here, but that's critical as well. So we're now up into position 5. This is the highest we've been so far in the Elite Series. Meanwhile, in front of us you can see ACSC is actually trying to get past G-Force Dre, because you can tell probably, I think it was a lap or two earlier, that Dre, I don't think has got the pace at the moment, or he's dropped away from the top 2. But he was pretty much holding up his own group battle, you could say there. But he's now lost a spot there to ACSC. Back we go here to Chain Game Wow. He's trying to make his recovery through the field. He's got, I think, Alex Pato again behind him, but he's obviously trying to get past Harry Tomato here down into turn 1. And with the straight line speed advantage and DRS open, he'll make that pretty easy there. So that puts Chain Game up into 10th. I think Alex was trying to get past, but couldn't quite get through there. But obviously he'll have to pit probably pretty soon with the obviously starting on the softs. The guys on the mediums could go a little bit longer. He could probably go like 15 to 16 probably. It's now Trap Formula leading the session there. Finally, I'm not sure what that was actually for from memory, but it's now Lachlan is now retired in the pit lane. So this
Sideways, Dre.
Dre got a little bit sideways there. He probably noticed that. I actually forgot to notice that while watching this back.
No.
There's upset. I think, yeah, I think ACW was asking Lachlan what on earth had happened, but yeah, he pretty much left the party by there. But Dre comes into the pit lane on lap 8, at the end of lap 8, which I felt like was maybe tad early a little bit, but obviously he might be burned up his softs a little bit too early there. But anyway, we'll continue on through to the next lap. Lap 9 is when the next stop. I actually thought ACSC was trying to stop me. Well, he could try and push me into the, what's the word? I can't even think of the damn word I'm trying to think of. You know, trying to, I can't think of it, it'll probably come back to me, but anyway, he came into the pit lane as well as ACW, he's also into the pit lane, so I just felt like I could go a lap longer, so pretty much I'm following what the leader does, which of course is now Plebs. This is ACSC's pit stop. Yeah, pretty simple there, and the ACW pretty simple for his as well. It'll be interesting to see where he comes out here, ACSC, sorry, not ACW. In terms of the other guys here, because I think there goes G-Force Dre, so he'll get back ahead of him here. But of course, this is obviously about a lap's difference now. So of course Dre got the undercut on ACSC there, but of course he might lose it a little bit later on because of the fresher compound time. Well, say fresher, 1 lap fresher anyway. Is Contrast into the lane as well with, I think that's Rhythms in the foreground. So they're both going on the mediums. Pretty simple stops there from both Ferrari and Mercedes there. It's, as we cut to the end of lap 10 now, you can see I think Plebs is coming into the pit lane, and this is my cue here to come into the pit lane as well. Well, here, dummy, that's probably what I'm trying to think of. So like dummy into the pit lane, like trying to force me into the pit lane, that sort of thing. But it didn't really work, and obviously he went into the pit lane. But obviously softs to mediums for Plebs. Pretty simple stop, and it'll be same for us. And away we go. So pretty simple all around there. Obviously we'll drop back through to the field there. That was actually a nice moment there. Ghosting through, I think that is A Star Is Born, who's also coming into the pit lane. So I think this is pretty much the last of the soft competitor tyre runners. There goes, I think that was ACSC and G-Force Dre battling away. There's Rhythm, so he's got the undercut back on us, of course. A lap's difference, of course, as Alex has now left the session. Not entirely sure. But it did say he left the party, then he left the session, so that probably looks like a bit of a disconnect there, I think, for Alex. So it's real unfortunate for him. As that's not unfortunate, as we get our 3-second, first 3-second time penalty of the race. Now, bear in mind, of course, at the Pacific race, I did not get a single penalty at all, so now we're going to have to work even more hard here. Unless we'll get an update pretty soon as we obviously get the DRS, as we'll get an update.
Seconds separate you there on fresh mediums. The time last lap was a 1 minute 40.5. They have a time penalty of 3.0. 3 seconds will be added to their time at the end of the race.
Okay, so Rhythms does also have a 3-second time penalty. And of course, they're also going to trying to keep it front here. They've tried to use a lot of ERS here in this back straight before Parabolica to try and keep within this sort of window a little bit here, because the near contrast was not too far behind here, but I dropped out of the DRS actually on the front straight here, so I pretty much knew I was going to be a sitting duck here down the front straight here into the first chicane, and contrast will probably have a look down here, and he does leave a bit of space here. I tried to go side by side, but felt better off just to let him go there. So there goes Contrast. He's got back ahead of us. That's probably the first time he's got back in front of us in a long while, considering we got the better of him after that little incident, the Variante de la Rogier, where he had with Rhythms, little push wide. This was the replay of ACSC, I think, get back past again G-Force Dre. before turn 1. Pretty simple there for ACSC. And that's put him back effectively on the podium once the other guys come into the pit lane. The guys are doing the opposite strategy. Meanwhile, back we go to, that's his not eye contrast. I've actually put the wrong graphic here. This is actually Plevs. You probably will not see this, but on my previous screen, I have to change this. But this is Plevs getting back, past Harry Tomato, who of course is one of the guys doing the opposite strategies. I think Chain Game Wales the other one.
The gap is less than a second. They're on fresh mediums. Their tyres are 1 lap old. The time last lap was a 1:22.1. They have a time penalty of 3.0. 3 seconds will be added to their time at the end of the race.
Okay, so Contrast also has a 3-second time penalty, so basically game on at this stage of the race here. So we're looking in good shape for the time being. This is a replay here of this is the battle between, Plevs closing in here on Chain Game Wow, because I think obviously ACW has cleared him. Now, of course, Chain Game Wow is also another of the guys doing the opposite strategy, so he's trying to go as long as he can here. But obviously he's now lost the first 2 spots there, so I wouldn't think he'd be too far away from Pity probably in the next couple of laps. Meanwhile, ACSC getting past Harry Tomato for position 4 on the racetrack, but it will become effective P3 once those other both Chain Game Wow and ACSC Harry Tomato come into the pit lane.
Not Harry Tomato.
So pretty much.
We're catching the car ahead, but be aware that these tyres need to last till the end of the race.
At this rate, at the moment of time, thank you, Jeff, as always. But at this moment of time, we're still in this race because obviously these guys.
Fucking dickhead.
No, he touched the grass. You didn't let me by.
So there was the bit of commotion yet again from ACW. Seems to be doing that quite a bit. You probably would have recognised that quite a bit back at Belgium. He's just asking close behind what's the go is with the warnings. We pick up a warning ourselves right on cue. So and now we're trying to close back in here on Contrast. We are back in the DRS train, but of course, it is a little bit weird, obviously, when you're being stuck in a bit of a train yourself around here. So you can see there's probably a bit of a train forming in front here. So I think Harry Tomato's in this one as well. I think Contrast might be going for a move here pretty shortly. Probably not down here into turn 1, as I don't think it's quite close enough. You can see we're starting closing quite a bit there through turn 1. You can see, we'll have a look on board his point of view in the top right of screen. So he's going to try and take full advantage of getting past Harry Tomato. He does so. So I don't think he'd be too far away. Like I mentioned earlier, the guys on the soft competitor tyres, the medium competitor tyres, I'm having a shocker here today. But now we're going to see if we can try and get past him here as quick as we can. I said this would either this lap or the next lap probably will be when the guys on the mediums will probably pit, but we should hopefully get past him here down the Cerro Giglio. So try to go around the outside of him here, and I don't think he really puts up much of a fight here, but we get the nice DRS, obviously. He also got the DRS as well, as we get a 3-second time penalty. So now we have to try and get past the guys in front now to actually have a chance of a decent result. Now it's a lap 16 now. You can see there's a bit more battling going on here. We're actually really starting to close in here to this pretty much group here. It involves 7654, I think we're at the moment. But of course, Chain Game Wow still yet to pit, obviously. So this is, I think this is the moment that occurred here, which you probably just saw. This is actually Rhythms getting back past for what will be effectively P3, I think this will be. And yes, around the outside, which will turn to the inside for the second corner, and he does get the move done. Dre was in or thereabouts there for the move there, but wasn't a little bit, you could say a little bit blocked off there a little bit, but that pretty much nowhere to go. Meanwhile, Chain Game Wales can now come in for his set of soft competitor tyres. So obviously now it'll elevate us up into effectively will be P7 in this race. We're just getting, I'm not sure what we were doing in the MFD there, but see Contrast is having a little look there on GeForce Dre. And of course, this group is now being led by Rhythms and head of ACSC, GeForce Dre, Contrast, and now myself. You see the top two have actually really pulled away from this group here, so we're just sort of trying to keep in this battle group here as best we can as we start to close up here to Contrast into Variante della Rogier. Turns 4 and 5. We can see if we can try and get a better run through here. It's not the greatest actually, so lost a bit of momentum going through there. Oh, he gets a little bit sideways, I think, there to Contrast, as we run it very wide. Actually, very surprised I didn't get him myself on invalidation there. But you'll probably see here, this is another statement of the DRS here.
Less than a second separate you. They're on old mediums. Their tyres are 7 laps old. The time last lap was a 1:22.7. You're gaining by 1/10 a lap. They have a time penalty of 6.0. 3 seconds will be added to their time at the end of the race.
Okay, now Contrast has now got 6 seconds worth of penalties, as you saw that Isaac Kush is pitted and retired from this race. So I think he's pretty much had enough at this point. Probably not be looking to get points.
The gap behind us is 7.2 seconds. They're on old mediums. Their tyres are 6 laps old. The time last lap was a 1:22.8. They have a time penalty of 6.0. 3 seconds will be added to their time at the end of the race.
Okay, so the penalties seem to be racking up here, even though, like I said, A Star Is Born is about 7 odd seconds now, about 8 seconds now behind us here. Probably keeping my eye on his teammate, Chain Game Wow. He'll probably be not too far away from popping into that graphic on the top left of your screen here. But you see this battle groups here is just getting, well, pretty much continuous here. Rhythms are still just starting to pull away here from ACSC, but he'll be under attack as well, ACSC, from GeForce Dre and Contrast. I think Contrast will probably have a think about it going down here into turn 1, which we've got a bird's eye view of this little action here. Side by side here through turn 1 and 2. They give each other racing room. That's very nice. There's Dre. Dre gets a little bit sideways, probably a little bit too early on the power, and he goes for a spin. And there goes his chance of probably a top 7 result from that, unless he can get the car going again. But you just see he's dropped a bunch of time there. Probably will come under attack from A Star Is Born very shortly here. So that'll elevate us up into another spot there for that one. We'll get a replay of that in a second. Meanwhile, this is a change again for the lead. Now, of course, I think Plebs, he pitted a lap later because ACW got the undercut on him. But now Plebs gets back that race lead here on lap 21 here of 27. This is the other replay here. We'll have a look at it.
That's it. That's his.
On board with Contrast again. Now, obviously in the DRS, go using every single bit of ERS he's got left, which is pretty much not much up the sleeve here, but up the inside here into turn 1. Obviously, they go side by side, giving each other plenty of racing room here, but you can see just Dre gets on the, well, you should probably sell from that little skirmish there on the wheel there. You probably would think Contrast may have had something part of it in that, but I think that's pretty much all Dre's doing there. I think he just got on the power a little bit too early, lost the back end, and just, well, slammed into the side pod, really, of Contrast and ended up for a spin. You can see he's lost the spot now for A Star Is Born for P7, but now we're up into position 6 now. So that those guys are still battling behind for position, obviously, but we've got our eyes set on this battle here. Like I said earlier on, this is pretty much game on here for the rest of this race. Barring, of course, we don't get any more time penalties, or whether Contrast does. But if he gets 9 seconds, just got to keep within 3 seconds of him till the end of the race, and we'll have position 5 up our sleeve. Meanwhile, ACSC is still trying to close in on Rhythms for that final podium position here. I think pretty much it is pretty much the battle here. There's Alex's ghosting AI car. Not really sure what happened there with him, but he never joined back in the end, unfortunately. So not the greatest of weekends for the Italian in the AlphaTauri. Meanwhile, here's Chain Game Wow closing in here on KD. This is for 9th place. Remember, of course, I said Chain Game's on the soft competitor tyres. Not sure how much inroads he can make on the guys up a bit further up the road here, because the laps are starting to run out here a little bit. As you can see, you're going to have to go around the outside here into turn 1, and, well, pretty much makes it look simple there around the outside. You can see that's the battle going there between Dre and A Star Is Born, his teammate. So he'll be joining that battle, I would think, pretty soon. We'll probably see it in the top left of your screen there, but we just dropped away a little bit here, lap 23. Off the back of Contrast here. Actually having a little bit of a think about it on ACSC down into turn 1, but felt better of it there. I think I might have made an error. I can't actually remember, but whether Contrast was just trying to put the foot down a little bit here, but obviously we're not giving up hope yet.
Okay, the gap behind is 9.8 seconds. They're on old mediums. Their tyres are 13 laps old. The time last lap was a 1:22.4. They have a time penalty of 3.0. 3 seconds will be added to their time at the end of the race.
Okay, so Dre's got a 3-second time penalty. We've now added another one, so we've got 9 seconds worth now. As this battle is still going on here, side by side in the Variante de la Rogier. It's probably not going to work out for either of them. Doesn't work out, unfortunately, for Star is Born, who ends up in the gravel trap, and his teammate gets by him there. But it probably won't be too long here before I think Chain Game gets past G4 Stray. I would not think. Anyway, be too far away. And again, back closing up again to the back of Contrast. Not sure actually why we dropped off pace for a little bit there. Whether I made an error or something, I can't actually quite remember, but you can see, just trying to maybe put him off here a little bit here. Just pretty much like what we were doing with F1 Hawk in the Pacific Series. He just, trying to put him off here, maybe make him get an error or something. He has a little bit of a back end loss there. Through into the first Lesmo. We have a look at the first Lesmo there through turn 6, but he's got a much better run here out of the corner here. But I think with that, we've actually pushed him out of the DRS window, the guys in front. So that's critical for us as well. One thing, maybe try and put him off and get him another time penalty, because that'll put us back on even Stevens. But the other thing, obviously, trying to keep him out of DRS and the guys in front. Obviously, they're having their own little battle. But this is our little battle we're trying to have at the moment here. But yeah, back we go. The Chain Game, wow. It actually took him probably a lap later, actually. I would have thought he'd get past Dre as quick as he could. But up the inside here into turn 1. Side by side. Give each other a racing room. He should have the better drive over here, and he does so.
Thank you, guys.
Goes Chain Game, wow, now up into P8. And that probably, P7 I should say, my apologies. But that might be where, at the moment in time, where he might be finishing, because he's about 12 seconds behind us at the moment. Meanwhile, we now fly past Contrast here into turn 1. Obviously with the light flashing, I think that means sort of ERS is getting a little bit low here, so we take full advantage of that one. There's only, I think, a couple of laps to go here in this race. We get a little bit sideways out of the corner. Yeah, it is lap 25 or 27, so a couple more laps left of this race.
3 laps of fuel remaining.
Still got a little bit of fuel up our sleeve here, so that's important. But now we're just going to pretty much hopefully get in front here, and obviously maybe see if we can actually try and pull away here from Contrast a little bit. Obviously, he might get the DRS here on the back straight, etc. The Cerro Giglio. I've hopefully pronounced that correctly. My Italian is horrible. We get very sideways coming out of the second Lesbo there. If I didn't do that, I probably maybe would have had the gap up a little bit higher there. But, well, of course, he would have obviously still had DRS, obviously. But I reckon if we didn't have that moment there, we might have actually pulled away a little bit there. But now the next lap here onto lap 26. You can see, obviously, I'm trying to use everything I can, but it's probably going to be to no use here. So I felt like just letting him go here again, because obviously you don't win, well, get the position you're favouring here for on this second last lap. You sort of ideally position in the final lap of the race, which is obviously the next lap here. So Contrast obviously got that move done easily into turn 1, didn't really fight it too much here. So just slowly but surely starting to close in to the back here again of Contrast. Now, I don't think I checked his penalty situation for the rest of the race. I'm not entirely sure here, but at the moment, like I said, with the last radio update, it was 6 seconds, and I've got 9. Excuse me, that was a nice voice break. 9 seconds. So basically, I've got to get past him, and that's not going to help either with another 3-second time penalty. So that's 12 seconds now. God, this is a far cry from the other race the other night, where I got 0 penalties whatsoever. Have a think about it going into Scari there, but I thought better of it. I thought this is not the ideal passing spot here, because if I pass him there, obviously he will get repassed going down into turn 1.
Our gap behind is 12.0 seconds. They're on old softs. Their tyres are 8 laps old. The time last lap was a 1:23.5. They have a time penalty of 3.0. 3 seconds will be added to their time at the end of the race.
Okay, so it's basically a 9-second gap here. I think there's a bit of the commotion there up the front of the grid, but now's our chance to pretty much pounce here as we go get that move done easily into turn 1. This is pretty much the position I wanted to be in. If we could have any shot here, well, I mean, it's probably going to be Neil and Buckley's anyway. Again, it sort of depends on the penalties. I'm not really sure whether I checked it again or not with the rest of this race, but all I did was just pretty much get my head down and try and build this gap as quickly as I can. Obviously, I'm running a little bit low on fuel. I think the tyre wear graphics come up as we get a warning there for cutting first part of the Variante della Roggier. So ACSC and Rhythms has really pulled away now, so we've really got to do this on our own here. As we come around the second Lesbo here, we get a little bit too much on the curb. No. We get the wall and we go for a spin.
Come on, come on.
You see, I'm trying everything to get back going again, but it's pretty much no use. And we got front wing damage, I think, as well.
There in the second Lesbo and hit the wall and spun.
And that probably ruined a good chance for top 6 position. As the both Chain Game Wow and GeForce Dre get past me. I wasn't giving up without a fight here, obviously, to the end. But of course, the penalties may cost me and may drop me a couple of spots.
Not a clean move, but anyway.
We'll get onto that a little bit later on. You can have your own say on that one, but across the line here, we're not quite going to get GeForce Dre here into the over the finish line. It is P8, but of course with the penalties it does cost us P9, and yeah, I was not overly happy. I've basically bottled yet another race. Austria had a good chance and I bottled it, and Hungary was the other one I was trying to think of. I forgot about that one, but yeah, that's pretty much three shots now that I've basically bottled a good chance of a good position.
Yeah, man, got to overtake without contact.
Chain Game Wow gets the driver of the day. Players very unhappy with ACW. We'll get to that in a second. Here's the replay of what occurred with me. You can see, I don't know, just probably took a little bit too much curve there. I thought it was all right just holding the wall there, but in the end I just went for a spin. Maybe just got on the power a little bit too early there, and obviously it gave me front wing damage, I think, from memory, if I'm not mistaken. I can't actually remember. Obviously we're trying to get back going again anyway, but here's a look of what happened with contrast. You can see, there I go, off to the right end of the screen.
Couldn't handle the pressure.
Pretty much summed it up, really. Again, it was a weird moment there, actually, because obviously, I think during his stream, there's Chain Game Wow getting past me there, but actually on my stream, his stream, sorry, I thought he was, he felt like I was like a new driver because he said charges 1,000 on his screen, but it was actually me. I don't know what the hell's been going on with the gaming on the thing on the top left of the screen anyway. But this is the moment, this is what the commotion was all about. This is why I think Plebs was a little bit unhappy with that little move there. As you can see, there's a little bit of contact through there, for the first chicane. I was probably getting a little bit touch and go there a little bit. Don't know whether ACW met that or not there, but you can see, I'm not sure, but he was trying to probably let him go back through there and get it, let him go back into the lead, then try again. But in the end, he does get the lead of the race through the Variante della Roggier. But of course, Plebs wouldn't give up without a fight here. This is obviously the battle for the race win. Straight through Ascari here. You can see the red light is flashing pretty much big time here. That usually means, I think I've heard somewhere, that obviously it's usually underneath 10% ERS, but these guys are using every single bit they got. Plebs round the outside is ghosting. That's probably affected him a little bit there. Of course, ACW has been known to lag a little bit there. Sorry, ACW, but in the end, ACW does hang on for the time being for the race victory.
Real Formula One, it's a crash. Like, the game, it's just a bump.
Probably tell if you watch my full race point of view as well, which obviously includes the party audio, you'll probably hear all the commotion that happens. But Plebs was not overly happy with driving of ACW there, but. Yeah, I don't. Again, you guys and girls can make up your call. I'm not going to get involved in that one. That may have been just a racing incident, possibly, anyway. But yeah, anyway, not going to really get involved in that one. And again, it was a little bit hot-headed as well, like you always do after a league race. Sometimes it happens. But that is the final results. ACW Plebs and ACSC get the podium in the end. Rhythms ends up P4, Contrast in P5. Chain Game Wow, going to be fair effort after having the little spin at the first chicane. Ends up position 6 there. Dre ends up position 7. He probably could have had a much better result had it not been for the little bit of contact there he had with Contrast anyway, but you saw the results anyway. So
Yeah, and
with that, the
chicane,
gap is now 41 points since
chicane
Kush is now, Kush DNF'd from that race, because I pretty much left the party pretty quickly there. Sorry, lads, about that, but I probably didn't want to hear all that commotion. Anyway, so the 41-point gap between ACW and Isaac Kush, and Plebs is not too far behind there. He's about 3 points behind there at the moment, as well as you can see there's still the reserves there. Here's the Constructors standings, 20 points between Williams and Mercedes, so that battle is going to go right to the wire, I would think. Alfa Romeo, they're still in P3 at the moment. McLaren and Red Bull now equal on points on 116, so we're hopefully going to maybe make the jump there. I think because obviously Chiru did not race in this around Italy. Renault there in position 6 on 100, then they got Ferrari, Haas, AlphaTauri, and whoever was the last one, Rugby Racing Point. There's the overall results for the season so far, like I said. So, in theory, if you take the reserves out, it's ACSC in 4th, Contrast in 5th, Rhythm 6th, Ray 7th. They've got a Wingman there. Obviously, he make the jump up as well. With that result, obviously, I mean, it could have been a whole lot better. Let's be honest. We probably would have been ahead of GeForce. Ahead of GeForce TP, probably would have been a long shot, but get a lot more closer anyway to GeForce TP with that result there. But we get up to P17 now in the standings, I think, from memory. I didn't actually write that down in my notes, so that's a little bit silly for myself there. But I don't think that last incident like we saw then was taken to the stewards. I think that was just deemed an incident there. Again, apologies about those last 2 bits there. With the license points to the driver of the day, I don't think they've really been updated since Great Britain there. So hopefully, I think they get updated a bit later on. But there you go. That was the Italian Grand Prix for the Elite Series. Hopefully, you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to give it a big smash on that like button. As always, you can leave your comments down below. Subscribe to my channel for plenty more Spec F1 Esports content on F1 2020, plus plenty more video gaming content as well. As always, all my social media links will be down in the description. Plus, as always, I'll leave the links down below to the Spec socials channels, their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, plus their YouTube channel, their Twitch channel. You can check out all the live streams there. And plus, hopefully, I'll leave a link down below to the Discord if you want to come sign up to this league. But until the next one, whenever that may be, it is goodbye, and I'll see you all next time.